Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're seeing me for the very first time, my name is Mide Nancy. So it's a pleasure to have you guys on the channel. For the new subscribers, thank you so much for joining the family. I'm so happy that you guys are here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why you are not getting admission. You're applying for bachelors, you're applying for masters outside of your country, I mean abroad, and you're just not getting admission into the programs you want or into the schools that you want, and you're wondering what's happening. So in today's video, I'll just give you some tips. Maybe if you are not doing these things yet, you can begin to do them, or if you're already doing some of it, you can reinforce and just continue to do those things. So without further ado, let's go right into the video. So the way I'm going to make this video is that I'm going to highlight one problem and I'm going to give solutions instead of highlighting the problems and then giving the solutions at the end. I really do not want this video to be long. So the very first thing I'm going to say is that your result is low. So if you're applying for a master's degree abroad and you have a very low bachelor's degree grade, like in Nigeria, we operate on the first class, second class upper, second class lower, third class, and I think pass or fail or something. So if you have a very low result, it might be affecting you getting admission abroad, because some universities look into picking people who have like the best results. You need to have a first class or a second class upper. Like that's what some universities really like want. But of course, if you have second class lower, third class, or even lower than that, can still stand a chance. Fine, you have a low result. Is that the only thing you have? You don't have any professional experience like volunteering, like internship, like courses that you've taken. You don't have anything else. So that result alone, because it is quite low and you don't have anything else to support your low bachelor's degree grade, it could be a problem. So solutions, what do you need to start doing now? If you need to take a PDG in your country, it's called postgraduate diploma. It's like in Nigeria, I know it's for 1 year if there's no strike. If you need to go for like a training, maybe you want to switch into things in HR, marketing, communications, you want to go into tech. For courses like that, there are always like trainings in a training center for like 6 months. You just need to pay for it. You do the training. It's like an advanced training where they kind of train you to be an expert or almost an expert in that field, and that way you get a certificate and things like that. You can add it to your application. So yes, I had a low grade from a bachelor's degree, but now I have a training in something else that I'm interested in. If for your training you had to do exams and everything, you can show your results for the training. So try to do a PDG, try to take courses online. If you cannot take physical courses, like there's some online there are some online sites where you can take free courses, like there's Udemy, there's Coursera, there is Allison courses, and so many more. I mean, they're not so free, but you can apply for financial aid on Coursera, I know. So if you put all these things together, I believe that it's possible that your result is not going to be the only thing they see, like, oh, this person has a low grade. They see the other things that you've been able to do, the other things you've been able to accomplish from the time you graduated to the time you are doing the application. So I believe it should help. The second thing is that your CV is nothing to write home about. I've seen some people's CV, and I just put myself in the position of like the admission committee, and I'm like, we're not going to spend time on this person's CV. So there are so many applications that do not even go, they don't even bother checking, because already there are lots of grammatic errors already. Like the format is not giving. I mean, it doesn't have to be like decorative and everything. You need to be able to differentiate between an academic CV and like a volunteering experience CV or something. You need to have a difference between your CV. The academic CV is the one that embodies everything that you've done, everything you've been doing, but not just anything irrelevant as well. If you're applying for a master's in mechanical engineering, you might leave out all the parts where you were working in a restaurant. It doesn't really make the application better. But of course, you can put, if you have volunteered at a mechanic shop, you can put it there. If you can tell them the mechanic people to give you a kind of certificate or whatever, you can put things like that there. So academic CV is where you should have everything possible. So if your CV is looking weird, they might not even check your application, they just discard it. So always adapt your CV to the CV format of the country you're applying to. For Europe, I know you can use Europass CV. Europass is a site, so I'm going to leave it on the link. Europass, then you create an account and then you answer the questions, and at the end, it generates for you a CV and it has the Europass logo and everything. Of course, in Europe, you can also use other CVs you make with Canva, CVs you make with MS Word. And then when you are putting a picture on your CV, you need to make sure it's a professional picture. Not like you should go to studio to take a professional picture. You can sit down, set your camera, and take a good picture, good lighting, white background. Not just a picture where you took selfies, you caught yourself away from your friend. Try to be more professional than that. It all depends. I know for the UK they have their own format. For Canada, for like USA, just make sure you ask someone that's there already, or try to watch videos, or just think outside the box and just don't go with one CV for every country you're applying to: Estonia, France, this, that. Just try to adapt your CV to the country that you're applying to. Another reason why you might not be getting admission is that you have no experience whatsoever in what you're applying to. It's good to want to change fields, in the sense that, oh, for me, I studied French in uni. I might want to have a change of field. Like, I don't want to do French again for my master's. I want to go into communications. I want to go into business analysis. I want to go into technology. Like, I want to change my field. It's possible. But in a situation like that, I'm not just gonna come with my bachelor's in French. That's the only thing I have on my CV, and I'm applying for a master's in accounting or business analysis. It just doesn't work that way. Master's is supposed to be the continuation of something that you've kind of been doing, or something you have some experience in. So before I take my BA French degree to apply for a master's in business analysis or data analysis, I'm going to want to take courses. Like I said earlier, I'm going to want to take courses. I want to know what it's about. I want to convince the program that I have an idea, like a prior idea of the course, and I want to further, because masters is the further of it. So if you think they're going to start from scratch with you, it's gonna be hard. So you need to look out for how you're going to, let there be something between that your bachelor's degree and your whatever you're applying. If it's for bachelor's degree, you are free to choose anything you want, as long as your secondary school leaving certificate, like WAEC for Nigerians or West Africans, we have WAEC. As long as your WAEC was in science, you can apply for programs in sciences. As long as your WAEC whatever was like in, you took hard courses, you can apply for programs in hard humanities and all sorts. Masters, you have to pay attention. You have to, put extra work so you can, because I have people who are messaging me like, oh, they have a bachelor's degree in, like, I don't know, maybe religious studies, and then you want to switch into tech, and you're applying for masters in tech without having any experience. You need to be able to show that there's something in between for the school to want to admit you. Okay. Another major issue is that your cover letter or your motivation letter or your statement of purpose, called SOP, is a whack. Sorry to say that. But if your letter that you're writing to the school is nothing to write home about, they're not going to read it to the end. If the program gives you a word limit, like, oh, it shouldn't be more than 500 words, and you're writing 1005, hoping that when they read it, they're going to have pity for you and everything, they're not going to read it. They have maybe 1000 applications to go through. So if they're telling you 500 words, stick to the 500 words, or even less than 500 words. It's not a matter of how long, it's a matter of what's there, the quality, not the quantity. And you need to know a little bit about the program. Do your research. Don't just say, I want to travel out, I want to leave my country. So you're just sending random applications to any program whatsoever. Or maybe one of your friends that you knew in Nigeria told you, oh, I'm now in the UK, I'm studying this. Next thing, you're just sending your application to that program. You don't even know if your own previous experiences relate to that program. You don't know if it goes together. You just feel like because they chose this person, they might choose you too. That's not a good way to think about it. You need to research on the program. Take time. I always tell people that ask me questions, I always tell them that take a day or two or a week in your life, block out social media. Just don't go on any other thing. Focus, sit down, take a pen and book. I'm old school. I like to write, like everything I'm telling you right now. I have my scripts in front of me that I've written with my pen. I like to write down, sit down, go, even open Google and just type if you studied international relations, master's program in international relations or media studies, or look for related things if in so country. It brings out a bunch of schools. Open them one by one, copy the links. You can be copying them to your phone or just write the link down. Take your time to actually digest what each program is about. Then that way you can adapt your motivation letter, like let it actually make sense. Your motivation letter needs to answer why should they consider you for the program, then why the program, why are you choosing this particular program in this school, then why the degree, why them as well. If your motivation letter is not answering these questions, it's not enough. I've made a video on my channel talking about how to write a motivation letter. Feel free to check it out. I will link it above. And as well, you can also check other YouTube channels. If you must use ChatGPT or any other AI tools to draft out your letters, because it can be frustrating. Imagine you're applying to 20 schools and you need to literally write a letter for every school. You are going to be tired. So if you want to use AI, make sure you use it wisely. Don't just copy whatever it brings out and paste. You need to reread it. You need to humanize it with your own brain. Sometimes use synonyms so it doesn't look too AI-ish. So be intentional about writing your letter. If you're applying to more than 5 schools, do not use the same letter for every school. That's another mistake lots of people do. Since the programs are related, I've seen people that apply to only 2, 3 programs and they get chosen by either 2 of the 3 or the 3 schools, while some people apply to more than 100 schools and everything is 0, because it's not a matter of how many applications you do, it's the quality of your application that matters. Also, make sure someone is reviewing your letter for you. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I've written this thing, is so good. I run it through like maybe a site, you can use Grammarly or whatever to just see if there are errors. And then I see so many errors that I never noticed. Like to me, the letter made sense. There were no errors, no grammatic errors. But when I run it through like Grammarly or run it through someone, there are lots of errors there. There's something else I realized recently, and this concerns Nigerians. There's a way we speak in Nigeria, or Nigerians speak, and for us, it makes sense. The English is perfect. But at the end of the day, I realized that, oh, this could actually be an error that we have just normalized as a normal thing. For example, the use of would, will. Like we just say, I'll come, I'll take it. I'll come. Will you come to my birthday? Yeah, I'll be there. We just use would anyhow instead of using will. This problem, I had to I realized it the hard way and found out that this is a problem that it's deep inside my brain. Like I do not even know. It's now that I'm consciously taking steps to know when to say will, when to say would, and I'll always correct all my close friends too. Whenever they text me and they say would instead of will, I always tell them it should be will. Oh, in this situation, it should be would. So there are just some things like that that you never know until someone else reads your letter or until you run it through Grammarly or something like that to see if there are errors. So be careful. Okay, so this one doesn't really concern France, but it might, I don't know. But there are some countries specifically that you have to send like cold mails to like professors, to tell them, pitch yourself to the professors so they can, accept you and even give you scholarships from their own pocket or something. So there are many countries that it operates in. You send, like many people have testified to getting scholarships, like full ride scholarships because they sent cold mails to a bunch of professors and they got a positive feedback from one of them. So a lot of people have been asking me about that as well. Personally, I haven't done that before, but I just want to say that if you've been sending cold mails and it's not working for you, but it works for someone else, it could mean there's something you're doing wrongly. Cold mail doesn't just mean you should just write a letter like, hello, sir, my name is blah, blah, blah. I studied this, I graduated with this. Please, I want to be on your program. I would like to come. Please help me. That's not how a cold mail is. You should do proper research on the work of the professor. So the professor definitely has papers that he or she has written. You need to go and read those papers. Take your time to read the papers. It could be the hardest application method, but at the end of the day, it's also one of the most profitable one because you get a full ride scholarship. You are working directly as a like maybe personal assistant or to the professor or whatever. So it's profitable at the end, but the work is a lot. You need to go read everything, not everything, but read the papers of this professor, the work of this professor. Highlight the things that the professor is passionate about or the things that the professor capitalizes on, like the point of like what they love, and try to pitch your letter in that way, like let it fit into what the professor is working on. You need to actually be interested in the things he's doing, and you need to let it be obvious that, oh, I've read, quote some of the things he said. I read your article on this, and I agree with what you said, that that. This is one of my own drives, and I believe I can contribute immensely to this thing, this current maybe project or research that you're carrying out. Here are the things I can do to make it blah 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 blah. So that way he wants to read it, not too long, but it's also making sense. You can even come up, if you have time, you can come up with your own, like a kind of like 5-10 pages of a summary and some other things and attach it for its reference. It's a long route, but it works. For sending cold mails like that, make sure you're also using mail tracker in your emails to see when the lecturer or the professor actually reads your email. Sometimes they read it and just ignore. In situations like that, you give it a bit of time, and then you can also send a follow-up message after a couple of weeks. Sometimes it, they just didn't read it, they didn't even open it. So in that case, you know when to move on and focus on those who are probably reading it or those who are responding to you. You can even ask him that you'd like to schedule a call with him, and that way you guys can speak to each other and be confident in yourself as well if you are going through that kind of route. Another thing that can optimize your application, if that makes sense, and kind of give you an edge over others, is having a portfolio. It's very optional, but if you have a portfolio, it's a digital kind of portfolio, not portfolio that you send by post office. No, it's digital portfolio where you kind of put some of the relevant things you've done, like active participation in one course or the other. It might necessarily not relate to the program. It can just be like things you volunteered for, environmental courses, humanitarianism, libertarianism, anything that you probably didn't get certificate for. Maybe you have pictures, maybe you have like articles, maybe you have anything. You can just like add it in your portfolio and attach it to your CV, like put it in your CV as a clickable link, or you can also just put it in a drive folder and put the link in your letter, at the end of your letter, or inside your CV or something for them to access it. That way, sometimes it might not even relate with what you're applying for. You're applying for something in data analysis and you're putting your environmental courses. So if they see that you actually have other things that you enjoy in life, that's why people always put hobbies in CV. Not because it's gonna make them choose you necessarily, but it's good for them to see that you have other things that you are doing with your life and it's interesting. So if they see this portfolio can be anything. It can also be academic achievements, awards, and everything. But how many of us actually get awards? So you can put other things that interest you, other things you're passionate about. You never really know what will make their heart, like what will warm their heart towards you. So it's always good if you can make one, make it, and see if it helps. Another important reason why you've probably not been getting admission is that you only have one way. A master's in forestry across 20 universities in the whole world. Have a B and C course of interest, like program of interest, like fine, I love forestry. Now, what is related to forestry? You can also look into like, farming. You can look into like agriculture science or agricultural economist, anything that is related to it. So kind of tweak it in a way that you're still doing that thing you love or something you're passionate about, but in a different way. And the reason why I'm saying that is because your application might be very strong, but there's some programs that only have like 15 slots, like you only want to choose 15 people or 20 people all over the world. So imagine everyone is applying for the same forestry. They would rank every application. So if your rank is number 25 and they want to choose the first 20, they're unfortunately going to choose the first 20. So if anyone in the first 20 drops out, they take number 21 like that till it gets to you. But if there is no ranking, it's possible that it's a very competitive program that you're trying to enter into. Maybe you have a friend from your country who is in the program. You are feeling like, oh, they should choose me as well. This is someone we studied together. But don't forget that you both have different experiences in life. Experiences on your CV are different. On your CVs are different. The way you write your letter is not the way this person wrote their letter. You might stand a better chance or a higher chance in a similar program, not the one that is highly competitive. So it could be agricultural science or something related to forestry, but not exactly forestry, that you might even be ranked the fifth or sixth. So tweak your application a little bit and don't just keep applying for the same thing, same thing, same thing. So with these few points of mine, we have come to the end of the video. I hope this video helps you. I hope you learn a thing or two. I hope when you begin to put this into practice, I hope you start getting like feedback, positive feedback from the schools that you're applying to. And yeah, I hope it makes a difference. Let me know in the comment section if you have questions. Let me know what the major challenge has been for you applying to schools. What has been the major thing or the major reasons? Because schools will always tell you why they rejected you. So let me know the major reasons why you've been getting rejections, or if there haven't been any explanations at all. Yeah, leave a comment below if you just liked this video, if you think it was helpful, and do well to give it a thumbs up. Share this video with your entourage, people you feel like would benefit from this video. Subscribe if you are watching me for the first time, or if you've been coming back but you haven't subscribed. Subscribe to the channel because more videos are coming your way. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.